A stormy morning, an unexpected visitor, and a farewell no one was prepared for. At 7 o'clock in the morning, the skies above the quiet town had already begun to shift in unsettling ways. The storm, which weather reports had warned about for days, was rolling in unevenly. One moment the streets shimmered under a burst of sunlight, the next, heavy drops of rain lashed down, bending the trees and scattering early commuters. On this morning, Diep, young, determined, and with a heart far larger than her modest life, was guiding little Nhi to school. The child clutched her small backpack, eyes bright despite the gloomy forecast. For Diep, these ordinary mornings had become extraordinary treasures. She had found Nhi years earlier, abandoned, fragile, a life almost lost. Since then, the child had become not just her responsibility, but her entire world. But this morning, fate decided to twist the familiar into the unimaginable. A meeting that changes everything. As Diep stepped away from the school gates, she heard a voice calling her name. "Are you Diep?" She turned to see an elderly woman, unfamiliar yet oddly insistent. The woman's eyes scanned her face before narrowing with certainty. "Yes, I am," Diep replied cautiously. "And where is little Nhi?" the woman asked. Diep's chest tightened. She did not recognize this woman, yet her question struck at the very center of her life. "May I ask who you are, and why you're asking about Nhi?" The woman straightened, her voice steady though tinged with fatigue. "I am Nhi's grandmother." The words fell like thunder. Diep blinked in disbelief, her thoughts stumbling over themselves. For years she had heard nothing from Nhi's family. When she first found the child, local police had tried to trace relatives, but no one had come forward. Slowly, painfully, Diep had accepted that Nhi had been abandoned, and she poured herself into becoming the mother the little girl desperately needed. Now, on a storm-tossed morning, the child's grandmother stood before her, demanding answers. Across the table, Diep led the woman into a small tea-house nearby. The air smelled of mint and citrus as she ordered 2 glasses of lemon tea. They sat across from each other, strangers bound by love for the same child. "Your home must be far from here?" Diep asked politely, trying to steady her voice. "Nearly 100 kilometers, the grandmother said, adjusting her shawl. "It was not easy to come. The road is long and exhausting, but I had to. I heard that you have been keeping Nhi. I have come to take her home." Diep's heart pounded. She tried to keep her words measured. "Years ago, when I first found Nhi, the police tried to locate her family. No one came. They told me your family refused to take her back." The woman shook her head firmly. "No. That is not true. We had urgent matters then, things that could not be delayed. But never did we stop loving her. Never did we abandon her. We simply could not come at that time. She is my blood. She belongs with her family. The tea arrived, steam curling between them like a fragile boundary. The clash of love and blood. Diep's hands tightened around her glass. Her voice trembled, not with fear but with defiance. From the moment NHI came into my life, I treated her as my own child. I have no children of my own. She became my daughter, my blessing. Every day I have fed her, clothed her, taken her to school, wiped her tears, listened to her laughter. She is not just a child I am caring for, she is my family. The grandmother's face softened for a moment, but her words cut with steel. Young woman, you must understand, paperwork does not change blood. There is a saying, different blood, different heart. No matter how much you love her, you cannot love her as deeply as her true family does. Blood ties cannot be broken. I am her grandmother. I will bring her home. Diep swallowed the lump rising in her throat. If you had come years earlier, I would have stepped aside. But now NHI knows me as her mother. How can I simply let her go? A plea for one more day. The conversation stretched on, heavy with pauses and unspoken pain. The grandmother insisted she had the legal right. Diep asked to see documents, proof of relation. The woman admitted she had not brought them today, but would return with everything by the afternoon. Diep felt cornered, her love for NHI colliding with a reality she could not fight. She did not want a legal battle. She wanted only more time. Please, she whispered, her eyes glistening. If you must take her, let me have one more day. Just one more day to hold her, to walk her to school, to hear her call me mother. You cannot imagine what this means to me. At first, the grandmother resisted, reminding Diep of her long and difficult journey. But finally, perhaps moved by the rawness of Diep's plea, she relented. One day, she said quietly. No more. Diep clasped her hands together, tears streaming silently. Thank you. Thank you for this mercy. Behind James's back, that evening, Diep wrestled with the unbearable truth. Nyi's grandmother would return in 2 days to take her away. James, her partner, was far away on business in Hai Duong, nearly 400 kilometers from home. On the phone, he sounded tired but cheerful, unaware of the storm brewing in Diep's heart. Take care of yourself and NHI until I'm back, he told her warmly. In 2 days I'll be home. 2 days. The exact amount of time she had left with the child she called daughter. Diep wanted to confess, to beg for his guidance, but her voice faltered. Instead, she wished him well on his work and kept her secret locked in silence. Business as usual. While James negotiated contracts in the textile factory, running his hands across new fabrics, discussing trends, and signing investment papers, Diep fought back tears at home. The cruel irony was unbearable. For him, life was moving forward, filled with ambition and expansion. For her, the world was narrowing, collapsing into a single countdown toward loss. When asked by a colleague why her eyes were red, Diep forced a smile. "I'm not crying." But even little Nhi, perceptive and tender, noticed. "Diep, don't cry," the girl whispered, placing her tiny hand on Diep's arm. "I love you. Please don't be sad." A mother and child's last supper. Knowing time was running short, Diep decided to give Nhi a day she would never forget. She took her to a cafe, ordered her favorite sweet drinks and small cakes. "Why are we eating out today, Diep?" Nhi asked innocently. "No reason," Diep said, forcing a smile. "Just because it has been too long since I spoiled you." As they ate, Diep asked carefully, "Nhi, if one day you couldn't stay with me anymore, would you be sad?" The child nodded immediately, her eyes wide. "Yes, and if you had to go live with your grandmother?" Nhi shook her head vigorously. "No, I want to stay with you. You are my mommy." Diep bit her lip until it hurt, hiding her tears behind a trembling smile. The final curtain. 2 days later, the grandmother would return with documents in hand. Diep knew she could not stop her. She could only prepare her heart for the unbearable, handing over the child who had filled her lonely home with laughter, who had once reached for her hand in the dark and never let go. For James, away in his suits and contracts, the realization would come too late. He had not known that when he said goodbye, he was also saying goodbye to the last days of his life with Diep and Nhi together. The storm outside had passed, but inside their lives, another was only just beginning.